At the end of this month, students in Tucson will be taking the statewide AzMerit exam. Now, this is only the second year of this test, so with the format and testing concepts are very kind of relatively new, some students and parents experience kind of anxiety about the exam.
Robbie Ramirez is here to tell us how Expect More Arizona has created a number of tips that can help parents prepare their kids for the exam so that they're fully prepared for the day of the test. So, Robbie, talk about this test. What is it really looking at, and why is it so important?
Well, what they're really trying to test is how our kids are doing in English, language arts, and mathematics. And what they're trying to do is not only be able to keep a gauge of where students are and how they're progressing, but also to look at instruction and where we need to kind of strengthen things and where we're doing well. So it's really to get more information about how our students are performing.
And now parents have a part that they can play in this. How can they kind of help them prepare or maybe even help them practice leading up to the test?
There are a few fantastic ways. One, simply find out when the test is going to occur for your school. Some are doing it on the computer, others are doing paper-based. So check with your child's school to find out when they're testing. You can also help by ensuring that your child gets adequate sleep. And not just the day before testing. Some of our schools are going on spring break and they're going to come back directly to testing. So it's important that you start a few days before testing with a reasonable bedtime. In the morning, make sure they get a good breakfast so that way their tummies are full. And also, give them a few words of positive encouragement that they can do well and that they're prepared for it. So that way they're ready to sit down and do their best.
That's great. And do you have any tips for actually sitting down and maybe helping them study or practice the things that are going to actually be on the exam?
Absolutely. If you go to ArizonaAimsHigher.org/ArizonaMerit, you can get a hold of practice Arizona Merit tests. So you can sit down with your child and you can go test by test question. They're samples, they're not the actual test, but you can look at the format. You can make sure your child understands what we're asking them to do and how they are to respond. And that'll ease some of that anxiety so they're familiar with it.
And Robbie, I know last time we saw you guys, we were talking about the test scores coming out. That was the last time you joined us. So do we know already when the test exam scores are going to be coming out for the one they're taking now?
Absolutely. We are definitely more fortunate because last time it was an extended wait time. Yeah. The target date is June of this summer, and they're working with the vendor to see if they might even be able to push that up because we're hoping to get them closer to the end of school year. But regardless, we will get them this summer at the latest.
Great. And Robbie, do you have any tips for parents who want to just kind of check in to see how their kids are doing academically kind of throughout the year?
Absolutely. As a parent, you should always be checking in with your child's teacher to see how they're performing on a day-to-day basis, but also how you can support your child at home, and your teacher will be the best resource for that information.
And I as you were saying before, some people are going to be coming off of spring break right into a testing, and trying to keep them warm throughout that spring break, keep them on a good sleeping schedule, make sure they eat.
Absolutely.
These are all things that sound like, oh yeah, I remember to do this, but a reminder just to say, give them the best skills, in order to get that success at that test. And then in June, they'll be so proud that they did that. So
absolutely.
I think that's awesome. So take all the tools that are available to you. Robbie, you always come in to remind us, and we'll be looking for those test scores in June. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, you can read more online about the AzMerit test, what it means for your child, and tips for preparation at ArizonaAimsHigher.org/AzMerit.